Here's my goal, is to have people in charge of Iran who don't want a nuclear weapon to destroy Israel, who will not be the largest state sponsor of terrorism, but live in peace with their neighbors and have a good relationship with the United States. That's what I want. And if you don't want that, there's something wrong with you. How do you get that? Two ways. The religious fanatics reject their agenda. They change their behavior. Maybe that'll happen, I don't know. Or you change the people. And you replace the religious fanatics with people in Iran who do not want to destroy the world, who do not want to create a master religion, who want to live in peace. And I think that's the vast majority of the Iranians. If we get this right, stick with Israel, stand up to this bully, this religious fanatical regime, let Israel do what they need to do, then I think peace is coming. The presiding officer and myself went to Saudi Arabia and Israel to talk about Saudi Arabia recognizing the Jewish state under certain conditions. Before the attack of October 7th, we were very close to expanding the Abraham Accords to include a deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel that basically would end the Arab-Israeli conflict. An amazing moment in history. October the 7th comes along, a vicious, brutal attack on Israel by Hamas, which is fully funded by Iran, raping women, killing children in front of the parents, and doing things that we really don't need to be talking about on the floor. That was designed to stop reconciliation between Saudi Arabia and Israel, because for the Iranian fanatical regime, the worst nightmare is for the Arab world to make peace with Israel and move toward the light. These people want darkness for the world. So what do we do now? Israel has had it. I talked to the Prime Minister yesterday before I went on television, and I asked him, what would you like me to tell America, Bibi? He said three things. We're profoundly grateful to the American people for what you do to help the Jewish state. We couldn't be here without you. We're profoundly grateful to President Trump for his strong leadership. He also wanted me to urge the people of Iran to seize the moment to end the nightmare you've been living. And the third thing he wanted me to tell the American people is Israel is not going to live this way anymore. They're not going to raise their children in bomb shelters. They're not going to have their life interrupted daily by ballistic missiles coming from religious Nazis who want to kill all the Jews like Hitler. They're not going to put up with that. Regime change is coming to Iran one or two ways. The regime renounces what they've been doing since 1979 and change course, or it's replaced. To expect Israel to do anything else is offensive to me. You're asking Israel to accept normal, being attacked every day and every night by over 500 ballistic missiles? Over 24 Israeli citizens have been killed. The missiles going into Israel are designed to kill children. The attack by the Israelis are designed to shut down the regime's nuclear capability. But the targets are changing. They're now going after the police force that keeps the Ayatollah in power, the intelligence services that scare people into submission, the prisons that house dissidents. Israel has made a faithful decision to go to the heart of this regime, to take these religious Nazis down one way or the other, reject Nazism in the form of religion, or get new people. And I am with them. I'm with them to the bitter end. So what happens in the next few days is going to determine the course of history for the state of Israel and the region for decades to come. To our friends in Israel, finish the job. Do what you have to do to bring about the regime change that will allow your children to sleep through the night. To the American people, wake up. Understand what we're fighting. The Ayatollah is not normal. These are not normal people. Stand with Israel.
President, earlier today, we received reports that Iran has targeted U.S. military bases and U.S. service members in the Middle East, putting the lives of thousands of Americans at immediate risk. I join Americans. I pray for their safety. This afternoon, I asked the Trump administration to immediately provide a classified briefing laying out the full threat picture, the intelligence behind Iran's retaliation, and the detailed scope and timeline of any U.S. response. More importantly, I've demanded they lay out exactly what measures they're taking right now to keep our service members safe. As I said Saturday night, Congress and the American people are owed answers. No president should be allowed to unilaterally march this nation into war with erratic threats, no strategy, no explanation. That's why I've called on Leader Thune to hold a vote immediately to enforce the War Powers Resolution. The law requires the Trump administration to consult with Congress. The Constitution demands it. And the American people, especially the families of those in harm's way, deserve nothing less. Confronting the Iranian regime's nuclear ambitions and stopping their campaign of terror demands strength, resolve, and strategic clarity.
I want to get perspective now from a lawmaker. The other side of the aisle, Democratic Congressman Jason Crow, who's a member of the House Intelligence Committee and will also be getting a classified briefing tomorrow. Congressman, first of all, what do you make of President Trump's announcement of a ceasefire between Israel and Iran?
Well, Anderson, we don't know what's true and what's not at this point. I already have received classified information. I'm a member of the House Intelligence Committee, and we were in briefings today. We don't know what's fact from fiction at this point. There are still reports of bombings and strikes in Tehran. We don't know the origin of that, so we have to see how this plays out. But I agree that it would be great to have a ceasefire, but that literally would just set us back a couple of weeks to where we were a couple of weeks ago. What success ultimately looks like here is a permanent and verifiable agreement that Iran would not get nuclear weapons. That did not come out of these strikes. That actually would have been part of the deal that Donald Trump tore up in 2018.
You said that this would just set us back to where we were a few weeks ago. Do you not think whatever damage, and again, bomb damage assessment is still underway, according to the Joint Chiefs of Staff? President Trump has said it was obliterated. The Joint Chiefs of Staff say it's still underway, though the damage does seem to be extensive. Are you saying that that damage did not set the Iran nuclear program back much farther than where we were a few weeks ago?
Well, let's not forget that this has happened before. Strikes have happened before. Espionage against Iranian nuclear facilities have happened before. We have been in this position before. And what happens is maybe it sets things back a couple of months. But if the Iranians want to develop a nuclear weapon and there's no verification, there's no inspection, and there's no permanent agreement, then they always just come back, which means what? A year from now we'll be here again. 2 years from now we'll be here again, at best, on the outside. What we ultimately need is a deal that is permanent and verifiable, and that deal will not come out of airstrikes. And let's not forget the fact that President Trump, without congressional authorization, issued an offensive strike against another nation, right? There was no imminent risk. There was no information provided to Congress that showed that there was a risk to U.S. persons and U.S. facilities that would have authorized him without congressional action to perform this strike.
The IAEA did raise concerns about Iran's nuclear program. They said that there was no reason to have 60% enriched uranium. No other country has that kind of enrichment level that's not a nuclear power. Were you concerned by what the report that the IAEA put out? They were not calling for strikes or anything like that. Were you concerned about what the IAEA said?
I'm always concerned about Iran. I'm always concerned about their intentions. They're one of the most malignant, dangerous regimes in the world, right? They've killed American troops. I served in Iraq as a paratrooper, and it was Iranian militias, Iranian support that actually ended up killing American troops. They're one of the largest state sponsors of terror. They support terror groups and proxy groups around the world. So yes, they shouldn't be trusted. And yes, I believe in being tough on Iran. But what I also know as somebody that spent 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, I know the inherent limitations of military power. I know you can't bomb your way out of this. And I also know without public debate and transparency and accountability and without Congress being involved, you can go for 20 years with a seemingly endless war, spend $3 trillion and have it end poorly. I have been there and done that too. That is not where we want to be again.
Congressman Jason Crow, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much.